All right, let's now get some political insight into the developments at the Johannesburg City Council, where a motion to hold a motion of no confidence against Mayor Dr. Mpho Phalatse passed with 139 votes. A new mayor has since been elected, of course. We saw that Dada Morero with his acceptance speech. Let's bring in, of course, thanks very much, Rebone, as always, for joining us here on SABC News. Certainly do appreciate. Rebone Tau is a political analyst and regular here on SA Today. Thanks very much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let's start then with this. I mean, the city of Johannesburg mayor, former mayor, has described what has happened as being a politically motivated attack against her and the administration. In fact, also saying that, herself and the party, they'll continue to fight this. What do you make of, what's happening? And of course, that vote of no confidence against her?
I mean, even if she wants to fight this, we saw that she tried to approach the courts, and as it was reported, that it was struck off the roll. Yeah. Council is about numbers. If you don't have the numbers in council, it doesn't matter. You can go to court, you can still be removed, because those who are also consolidating power on the other side will then change their strategy. But it was certain that she was going. But I think what people are missing out is to watch the role that the Patriotic Alliance is playing. Mm-hmm. And I can tell you, let's go back to 2022 April this year, when they took over the Central Karoo. They go into a coalition with the ANC. Yeah. That alone was telling you that there are discussions with the Patriotic Alliance, and they played a central role in the removal also of the mayor of the DA in Johannesburg. She will have to just play politics. That's what the DA will have to do, because they also came across as a party that is very arrogant. The issue of them wanting the mayor, wanting the speaker, and these are some of the things that were used to say that we can't have a DA that is just wanting to be in control and everything. And
that's actually where I wanted to go, because, there's been a lot of conversation about, the DA could have stopped this from happening. You mentioned the fact that, we need to play politics. In what way could they have perhaps negotiated some way that would have perhaps kept them in the seat? Because I think a lot has been said about it, and it certainly does look bad for the party, not only Dr. Mpho Phalatse.
I mean, the issue of the speaker was one of the issues, because some of these parties were saying that give it to the IFP, but the DA decided that they want to retain the speaker's position. Probably had they given the IFP that position of the speaker of council, the things would have not played out the way they played. So they gave leverage and a room for the ANC to navigate within council in terms of negotiation, and that's why we saw today that Cope, not today, a few days ago, that Cope then becomes the speaker, because that's how you play politics. You can't want to take everything.
Yeah, and now we're talking about the hot seat now. Of course, the ANC's Dada Morero now in leadership, and the ANC back then in leadership at the city of Johannesburg. I mean, what difference will they make? I mean, there's a lot of promises that were made there. So, Mr. Morero, they're making some promises saying things will be fixed. But of course, we've had many mayors from the ANC. And also just, this is just a side topic I just want to put out there. But, 3 mayors of the ANC, as we know, having passed away while in the position. I mean, I wonder if there's anything to read into that. But very interestingly that we have, another ANC mayor of Johannesburg at this time.
I think the ANC finds itself in a very difficult position. It will have to play politics also to sustain, because a coalition government is not easy. While they would want to also gain the trust, of citizens of Johannesburg. Yeah. I'll give an example. Soweto is a big headache for the ANC. It's going to be a big headache for the current mayor to try and deal with, especially the issue of literacy in Soweto, And this is where the ANC used to have a stronghold in the past elections. And we've seen that since the people of Soweto have constantly boycotted elections, the ANC has been really losing the municipality, struggling as back as 2016, 2021. So he has got a role that he has to play, is to manage the egos within the coalition politics, but also try and give confidence to the people of Johannesburg. I don't know if they will be able to do that, as he speaks that the municipality doesn't have money and so forth, as we heard him speak earlier on, because you need a budget, to make sure that in terms of the services are rendered.
Yeah, and I mean, there's also a number of issues too when it comes to, I'm taking the fact that you're talking about Soweto, there's a number of issues that you need to address in order to appease, let's say, the Soweto residents. I mean, there's also the issue of illegal immigrants, and it seems as though Sowetans have made their voice quite clear as to where they stand on that particular issue. So apart from the electricity issue, there's also that. Yeah. And do you think that this is where the ANC will try to find a balance or find a way and a firm stance on these particular issues?
The ANC finds itself in a difficult position because of its policies as an organization. An ANC that it was known to be a very Pan-Africanism in terms of its politics. And then you have the Pan-African, the Patriotic Alliance, which is clear on the issue of migrants. And this is how the PA then gets its support or its base, because they have been consistent, on this issue of migrants. So it will be very difficult, because for the ANC, we know that even through the Minister of Home Affairs, who's been trying to say that we're dealing with this thing, the ANC coming from a policy conference, they still, even within the party, there's mixed emotions on this issue of migrants. We're waiting to see what will the party resolve itself at this December conference. So he has to find a way to navigate or play to the gallery of this populism politics.
All right, let's finally, just in closing, as we wrap up our conversation, just bring in something else here. Another developing political story, of course, the SACP is looking at calls for it to contest the next elections. What do you think is the future there of the tripartite alliance, but also the SACP? I mean, is the SACP delusional here? Are they strong enough to stand on their own?
We can use Metsimaholo as a case study. Yeah. The SACP contested Metsimaholo. They didn't do well. So that shows that they don't have the support and the base that they think they might have. So them being in an alliance with the ANC has really helped them. But if they would go solo, they're not as popular as people in South Africa don't understand what is socialism, as a party, a communist party, or what is communism and so forth. So I think that this is not the first time that they threatened the ANC. They tried in 2017 the by-elections. They did not do well in Metsimaholo. So with this stress, and I think that the alliance, they should end this marriage. It's no longer working.
All right, so let's leave it there. Rebone Tau, a pleasure to see you in person this time, political analyst joining us here, of course, weighing in on what's happening, of course, in the mayoral seat in Johannesburg.